Welcome back to Cheddar, everyone. You're watching Closing Bell. Let's get you a quick check of the markets, let you know where things stand as we've got inside of just about 75 minutes left in today's trading activity. The Dow Jones Industrial Average right now holding on to gains. It's up by about 1.25%. The S&P 500 up in the same ballpark. It's up by about 1.3%. And the Nasdaq Composite is also up by 1% on the day, about 130-ish points added on there. All right, guys, well, Amazon-owned Zoox has unveiled its first self-driving robotaxi. The autonomous electric vehicle is a carriage-style car that can seat up to 4 passengers, has no steering wheel, can run for 16 hours on a single charge, and can travel at up to 75 miles an hour. Joining us now is Aisha Evans, who is the CEO of Zoox. Great to have you here with us today. So excited for this conversation. We got to start off with how the company is reimagining transportation with the unveiling of the robotaxi and what went into it.
Thank you very much for having me. Looking forward to it too. Look, we are reimagining and reinventing personal transportation, making it cleaner, safer, and just more enjoyable for everyone.
Okay, and so the robotaxi, as implied in its name, will be suitable for transportation in cities. How does somebody go about ordering, summoning a robotaxi ride?
The same way you do today with Mobility on Demand. So we'll have an app that will be available for download, and you'll request a ride to go from point A to point B. You will get a little icon that tells you that the vehicle is coming. It'll pull up, its doors will open up. You slide in, sit down, buckle up, press start, and then you will have a little screen where you can control your music, see the progress on your route, as well as adjust your temperature.
And what about the comparability in fares? How will you determine pricing, and what does that model look like as compared to some of the historical incumbents, the behemoths that are already in the ride-sharing markets internationally for Uber, and then more locally here we know in the US, Lyft?
So we're not disclosing any specifics on pricing today, but I can tell you that we've looked very closely at our pricing model, and this is going to be affordable and accessible for everyone.
Okay, we'll have to check back in on that. How much do you envision certain regions really tapping into a robotaxi offering like this, and where have you already plotted out cities that you would like to expand into?
So we really designed this vehicle and this product from the beginning, meaning from inception 6 years ago, to be for dense urban environment. So think about your major US cities. We think that the benefits around basically efficiency, around congestion, around the environment, and the amount of real estate footprint today that goes to parking, for example, we will release all of that and make it just very effective and efficient to move around cities.
And so
Las
within
Vegas, sorry, go ahead.
No, no, no. I'm going to let you finish. And perhaps, just in addendum to what you were mentioning, given the fact that you have this city-based focus, that certainly requires a lot more sensors, perhaps, ability to react, given the different variables that are going to be in the transportation environment for Zoox. How do you really take that all into account? And where have some of your own studies, the data and the methodologies proven different and perhaps more successful than some of the other players that have invested heavily in autonomous vehicles and driving?
Well, this is exactly because we thought about cities. In cities, by definition, you just have a lot more going on. You have a lot more, we call them agents in our own Geek Talks, pedestrian, cars, double parked vehicles, scooters, a lot is going on, and the space is also more limited. And this is why our sensor architecture is really geared towards, you have those pods, those sensor pods at all 4 corners, giving us 270-degree view from each corner. And there are always 3 pods looking at something so we can see behind and around things. So it just makes it better, safer, and easier for us to drive in cities.
Walk us through the timeline when it comes to testing and deployment. How far along are we?
So look, we're not really talking about specific timelines. I'll tell you what goes into this. It's a lot sooner than is argued in the industry, but it's not next year either. What we're focused on is testing on private roads and then on public roads, and making sure that we meet our very, very high safety bar. this is going to be important. We're going to drive amongst other humans and making sure that we don't hit anything, we're super safe, and we have trust with the consumers and they feel comfortable taking this service and being transported.
Is this a service, a technology that you would feel comfortable in the future licensing out to other transportation authorities in city, other companies that may want to leverage the technology that you've built up?
So you never say never in life, right? So I want to be very careful around that. But right now, our focus is to continue our testing and deploy this fleet where we don't sell vehicles, we sell a ride, and then who knows what will happen in the long term. But our focus is getting to market and really delighting customers moving around cities.
Acquired by Amazon earlier this year, people thought that Zoox vehicles would be used for deliveries. Do you intend to eventually see a crossover multi-purpose use for Zoox?
This is a very modular platform, so I want to be very clear. This is a big enough sort of inflection point in our industry that our focus is on ride hailing and moving people around cities. I will concede that if one can move people, you can probably move packages, but that's further down the line.
That's very
Maybe
fair.
that's
Certainly. And so just lastly, while we have you as well, what has the acquisition and Amazon done in terms of accelerating some of the research, the development that you've been able to do?
Well, first of all, freedom. I mean, this is a company that is long-term oriented. They've done things like this in many different industries. From a day-to-day basis, obviously, we don't have to go fundraising every month. We can really focus and get that done. We're also learning a lot from the experience they have and the caliber of leadership and advice we get.
Aisha Evans, CEO at Zoox. Don't be a stranger. Please come back. We'd love to discuss this even further in the future. Congratulations.